Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review for The Boys Season 2, Episode 6. In my opinion, one of the best episodes of the season. I think this is really, really strong, top to bottom.
For me, this was probably my favorite episode of the entire series. I'm a
Wow.
huge
Okay.
Frenchie fan. I love him and I love the actor, and I really enjoyed this episode getting to know a little bit more about him.
I just feel like a lot of the components lined up in a really interesting way because we saw a lot of the boys kind of sort of together here and there. I think the Butcher stuff was really good. Some of the best Butcher stuff we've ever had. Got some Queen Maeve stuff that finally paid off, one of the most horrific things in the first season.
Yep.
We're going to get into all of it, though. Before we do, if you guys do enjoy this discussion, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and support us further. Check those links to the store and also our Patreon.
So over these two seasons, we've seen Frenchie put in so much into Kimiko that he has felt almost like he needs to save her. And there's been more of sort of a focus on that this season, that she doesn't need saving from him. But this wasn't ever really about her. He's been trying to absolve himself of this heavy guilt that he's been carrying around for years. That one decision that he made ended up down the line costing one of his best friends his life, and then also cost the lives of, these children that were Grace's, that ended up dying because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing in watching Lamplighter. And all of this just ended up just weighing on him so much that he put all of this on Kimiko. And now he's in this situation that he realizes it's completely unfair what he's been doing to her, and that it actually hasn't been helping him at all.
All of this was great. I've said Mother's Milk is my favorite person in The Boys, but I do love Frenchie as well. I did, because the whole thing with Frenchie and Kimiko has felt kind of fun, and there's a lot of kind of humor around them in the past season and a half, but it was good to kind of get that sort of underlying darkness established there and figure out all of these relationships and even understand Grace Mallory more as sort of a character, because yes, I know Layla Robbins can play mysterious woman very well. I've seen enough of The Blacklist to know this, but it's good to actually get something more on even her that sort of grounds and establishes her more, and I think that led to all this sort of interesting confrontational stuff as this episode went along.
And just to see that, we know that Billy had a relationship with Grace, but now we've seen that Mother's Milk does. So did Frenchie, so did Lamplighter. And so Lamplighter is someone who's a character that we really got to know in this episode a lot about. And sort of the idea was that he was going to be a mole that was going to go into Vought and sort of figure out what was going on and relay some information back. And then it turned out that he turned on them, of course, and went over to go take care of Grace and to kill Grace, and instead ended up killing her children.
And this informs further, this is why this is such a good episode, because it does establish more why there's so much distrust towards Annie as she tries to sort of work with some of the boys. Some of them have been screwed over before by someone with powers, and I think it also sort of shows further the allure of being in the Seven, because Homelander is a disaster, and he's a terrible person, and all these other things, but, being in Vought, being this elevated person, having the fame and the red carpets, it's like, it gets to people. It's sort of like anybody who gets into a celebrity status. It certainly affects some people worse than others.
Yeah, and that's sort of then where we get into everything that's going on with Stormfront, because that was a conversation that her and Homelander had at the end of this episode, that for her, there's a bigger mission, a horrible, awful, terrible bigger mission than just having the fame and having the fans and having the money and all that. That sort of power that comes with fame for her is just like, it just doesn't mean anything.
It's a means to her despicable end, and she has been around for such a long time. She's sort of like a patient zero, if you will, on this whole superpower movement. And the thing that still kind of baffles me about this show is it's that, like, okay, if you guys all connected the dots well enough at Vought and everywhere else, like, wouldn't you sort of know that Stormfront is coming from a not so great origin? Like, would you really want her representing who you are in 2020? I don't know.
Well, yeah, and I mean, obviously, Vought has been around a long time. They clearly also have a much sort of darker side to things because they know what is going on. So Stormfront is sort of heading this experiment. It seems that she was like a patient zero, that she was one of the first people that was given the compound V. She has been around for decades now, very long time. But since then, it seems that only babies were really able to get the compound V. And every time they're being able to be raised into these superheroes that they're able to control and work with. But Vought doesn't want to wait around for people to grow up. No, they instead want to make it so that they can do what they did with Stormfront, which is give it to an adult who then is going to turn into a superhero that they can control and take care of and, move into this bigger, more horrible thing that's going on. So now we've been introduced to this whole facility that has all these sort of pseudo superheroes that some powers working, some not, some I don't even know if we can talk about them on this channel.
Yeah.
Very, very weird stuff going on.
It is all like I like how we sort of have like a multi-tiered structure. It's sort of like when you play a video game, and this happened to me all the time playing Mega Man growing up, where you would get to like the lair and you would defeat all these bad guys, and then it would turn out there would be an even worse version, or you're like fighting like 5 phases of Dr. Wily, and it's like, okay, Stormfront is sort of the big bad, but it's like there's this whole organization just beyond her, and Vought as an organization, not exactly so innocent when you think about origins that go back to like pre-World War II Germany here. Like, it is a really, really bad situation, and it's like you can sort of cut the metaphorical head off the snake here, but in this case something else is just gonna sprout back up.
Yeah, this organization knows what Stormfront is. They said, I think it was in the last episode, that they've kind of been moving her around over the years, so they know what is going on with her. She's clearly been working to get it so that this compound V will work on adults every time. That's what they want. They want to be able to just walk up to whoever, give them compound V. Great, we have a superhero that can work for us right away. Amazing. Let's go do all kinds of horrible stuff.
My favorite part of this episode, and it's shocking because I'm not always the biggest Butcher fan, but I love everything that was there with Butcher and Annie and Huey, and they're all in this mission together, and Huey's like near death, and here's Annie, here's Butcher, and they like forced to actually work together. I just thought the performances were really good, the writing was really good, them kind of coming to this mutual understanding that Huey is almost sort of too pure for this world on some level.
Yeah, I really liked this, and it was something that I feel like it needed to happen, because for Billy, my biggest criticism has been that he's been very focused on just killing the soups. He's just a soup killing machine, and that is it, and there is nothing else to him. And now this season, they've done a really good job sort of peeling back a couple layers. We know that he had a brother named Lenny, reminds him very much of Huey. That was kind of cool to sort of learn a little bit more about that. This definitely needed to be something that happened. We know that obviously Kimiko's been working with them for a while. He's been, of course, very reserved about her. This is a relationship that needed to happen. That moment where he's looking at her in the mirror and she's just like, don't look at me with your respect. I don't want your respect. Just don't do that to me. I think was really important because he did have that respect for her, and that was the first time that we've really seen him break that wall when it comes to a suit.
Best performance from Karl Urban I've seen on the show so far. I think he was so good in a lot of this, and give me a full hour of the road trip here, and I would be very, very happy. But I like sort of where we're getting, where they all do understand Philly. Okay, we can't just distrust each other anymore. We have to find a way to move forward and kind of do it together to have a chance. And if we can do that, good. We're going to be okay.
Yeah, and I think for them to move forward, this needed to happen where now we have Starlight and we have Billy, and they have a common sort of love, and that is Huey. Yes, he's too pure for this world.
Yeah.
But they both want to protect him. They both care for him greatly, and that gives them sort of something to come together about, even though they don't like each other and they haven't had much respect for each other. There's something that's growing there, and I really like that. And I love that she got that tracker out of her, and she is now over here, and she is just on the run.
Yeah, like, really, here's the only thing I'm wondering about. What's going on with Black Noir? Like, we got all these other soups get some... Where's my guy? Okay, he's not my guy. Where's Black Noir?
It's your guy.
Yeah, I was about to say. It's like, I like the idea of him. Maybe I don't like anything else that he does.
I'm also very interested to see that last scene with that new soup, Cindy, who seems to be like the most powerful soup on the planet at this point. She just got into a car with somebody and took off. Like, that's going to come back in a really bad way here.
Yeah, I think we can guarantee that. Like, there's always a guarantee of something really terrible happening on this show at any given moment.
Okay, so we also have to talk about Queen Maeve and everything that's happened there. So we all remember what happened with her and Homelander on that plane.
Yeah.
Somebody took a phone video of them abandoning them on that plane. She wants to use this to basically blackmail Homelander and just say, listen, if you don't leave us alone, then I'm just going to put this out. And I don't care what happens to me, but I know you care what happens to you, so get in line. It is not going to go anywhere as well as Maeve thinks. There's just no way. He's going to melt that phone in a second.
Yeah, I admire the hustle. Like, I will give Queen Maeve that fully, and I like how they built this story because you sort of see at the start she's like one of these like popsicles or something that she's like forced to promote, and it's just you're reminding you yet again of like how much she's being used and how she feels like she's just wants to sort of be herself and not have to deal with that, and certainly not have to deal with Homelander and all of his nonsense anymore. And it's a horrible position that she is in, and I don't know exactly how she's going to get out of it. I'm really worried that Queen Maeve is going to die, honestly, before the end of this season.
And the thing is that with Homelander being as close to Stormfront as he is now, that he even bought her flowers, and he burned down his trailer, but,
there's a big bot.
That whole big thing at the end with the two of them sort of coming together, as lovers, as on this mission that she's building him up to be the man who is going to be the face of this future, the person who's going to bring them to this next level. I don't think he's going forward going to care as much about Queen Maeve and what she's doing anymore. Like, he did care about it, but he is moving into something else now, and he doesn't really need her anymore.
It's true, and I need all of the 7 at this point, or at least as many of them as possible, all in one room, because I think we need to sort of see where each person sort of stands on some of this sort of stuff, and also just get a better sense as to what in the world is going to happen with A-Train, because I still don't think they know what to do with that character.
Yeah, it's kind of like they also don't really know what to do with the Deep, and now they've got this like collective going on over here, and now A-Train's over there as well, and I have wanted to see sort of a little bit more of the group of them together being forced to work together to do these things as the 7, because now Annie's on the lam over here with the boys, Queen Maeve's over here doing something else, we got Stormfront and Homelander over here, A-Train's been kicked out, the Deep's over here, and who knows where your guy Black Noir is.
I take back my guy.
It's too late, man.
I know, it's just no walking. This is the thing that I'm so curious about. If this could be like a season 3 thing, but what if this season could end and you've got sort of Homelander and Stormfront are kind of like over here, and they sort of become the big villains. And then maybe somehow, like, Queen Maeve and the Deep and A-Train and Starlight, like, they all kind of band together against them. I mean, granted, I don't know. Nobody wants redemption for the Deep. Nobody really wants to work with the Deep. But is he, like, a necessary evil for this? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of just sort of wondering where it's going, because this is one of the things that would end up happening, where people would come in and out of the Seven because it is a brand more than anything else, right? So if Vought's main purpose is to move into this sort of weird world power thing, and Atrine's not really part of that anymore, Deep's not part of it anymore, maybe Queen Maeve gets moved out, are they just gonna bring in a whole group of new Seven next season?
I'm so curious to figure that out. We only have a couple episodes left.
Two episodes left. That is it, guys. 2.
At least we're not getting them all at once, and then it blows everything, and then we don't have anything else to look forward to. Granted, we're probably in the minority with that. We like the once a week thing.
I like the once a week thing. It gives time to sort of reflect on stuff, because this is a show that has so many different branches of theories and where this could be going and stuff like that, that sometimes you need to sit on these things.
Well, let's get your thoughts on all of it. What did you think about The Boys Season 2, Episode 6? Be sure to share in the comments, and if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe. If you want to support us further, check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.